So you're trying to connect to the Google Search Console API, and then it's using something called OAuth2. Now, you're used to a bunch of different API protocols like API keys or bearer authorizations and even basic auth. But OAuth2, that's got a couple of more steps to it. And if you're new to it, it could be really difficult to get around. I know for a fact that I had a lot of difficulty at first. So to help all of you out there, I'm going to show you a really simple way to connect to the Search Console API using OAuth2 through Google Apps Scripts. And we're going to do it in less than 30 lines of code. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. Before we dive into the code, let's talk a little bit about what OAuth authentication even is. Now, I'm not a professor, so we're not going to go into the granular details of it. However, it is good to have a high-level understanding of what OAuth really is. Think of it as if you were going to ask a friend to give you the passcode to their locker. You give them a call, they would verify that you were in fact their friend, and if you were, then they give you the passcode. And then you go back over to the lock and then use that code they gave you. And that's essentially OAuth2. There's some other stuff like user scopes and things like that, but we're not here to learn about OAuth. We're here to connect to the Search Console API, so let's get to it. So the first thing is creating a new scripts project for yourself. To do that, we're going to go to script.google.com, and then we're going to add a new project through there. Since we're connecting to the Google Search Console API, we're going to also need a Google Cloud Platform project. To do that, let's go over to console.cloud.google.com. I'll include a link in the description below so it's easy for everybody to access. And once you get there, if you already have a project, great. If you don't, we're going to click on the Create Project button and then just follow the steps to set one up. Once you create a Google Cloud Platform project, get the project number from your dashboard. Then head back to your script. Click on the settings icon to access the project settings, and we're going to do two things here. First, we're going to enable the app-script.json manifest file in the editor. And then the second thing we're going to do is to change the project number. Before we can access the Search Console API, we also have to enable it through Google Cloud Platform. So go to your dashboard and then find APIs and services from the left-hand menu bar. Select Library, and that's going to bring up all the available APIs that come with Google Cloud Platform. In the search bar, search for Search Console. That should only return back one option for you. Click on that, and then you'll see an Enable button, which you'll click, and that's all you need to do to enable that API. And now that we have that, it's time to write some code. First thing we're going to do is put some custom scopes that we'll need in order to access the Search Console data. We'll do that by clicking on the app-script.json manifest file, and then we'll add a new line for OAuth scopes. The ones we're going to need are the script.external request scope, which is going to allow our script to make external API calls. And we're also going to need the webmaster scope so we can access the Search Console data. And for our main code, since we're pulling the Google Search Console data, let's call this request search console API. And then the first thing we'll do is grab our OAuth token. So we're going to use script app.getOAuth token. And then from here, it's a pretty standard API call. We're going to set up our request URL before we move over to our payload. For the Search Console API, we'll need a start and end date, as well as dimensions, which we're going to set as date. In our header, we'll include a bearer authorization, and that's going to use the OAuth token that we obtained in the beginning of the script. Then we'll create an object for options, and we'll set the headers to the headers. The method is going to be a post, and don't forget to stringify the payload that we're going to pass through this post request. Now we use URL fetch app to make the API request, to parse it using json.parse. Return that JSON, and let's add a breakpoint so that we can run the debugger. And so we had 5 dates in our date range, and the JSON is showing that it is returning 5 items in the array. In other words, an absolute win. If you're connecting to a non-Google API that uses OAuth2, you're not going to be able to use the trick that we showed you today, the script app.getOAuth token. If you are interested in seeing how to do that, please leave a comment below with the service that you're trying to connect to, and I'll see if we can make a tutorial just for you. For other cool Google Apps Script tutorials, make sure to click this link right here to check out all the cool videos that we have. But I'm a guy called Joe. This is Bootstrapping Tools. It's been a pleasure, and we're out.